As I was looking up the word Advent, I came across two translations into the English language, and it's not unusual to have two translations into the English language. The first one was to come to, and the second was a coming or arrival, and obviously the coming or arrival is Christ at Christmas. It is after the Feast of St. Martin, which is held on November 12th. It is 40 days. It is supposed to be a penitent time. It's supposed to be solemn, quiet, and less festive. It is supposed to be more like Lent and less like the secular festivities of Santa Claus and Christmas and lights. What we see here is St. John in the middle of our wreath in church, and he's mentioned in the sayings of Isaiah in the Catholic Church on one particular Advent Sunday. You have him saying, "I am a voice of one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord," which is a saying from the prophet Isaiah when they asked him who he was, if he was the Messiah or not. What I have here is the chart of the entire Christmas season for the Catholic Church. And what we see is that Advent is just one part of the Christmas season. We see what it's supposed to be, the themes of it, the colors, purple or sometimes blue. Obviously, we have purple candles in the Advent wreath for solemnity, and pink is for joy on the third Sunday. And then we see the Christmas season, the Christmas day, and we see the Christmas season after to Epiphany. The actual Christmas season, as I said before in another video cast, was from midnight Mass all the way through the Epiphany on January 6th. And these are the 12 actual days of Christmas. As a solemn time, you're not supposed to sing Christmas songs. So that's a very strange thing. You're not supposed to sing Christmas songs during the Advent time or the preparation time for it. And you're only supposed to have Christmas readings after December 25th or the night of the Christmas Eve Mass. So we kind of do a reverse celebration. We celebrate before Christmas, and then after Christmas, we kind of forget it, but the Catholic Church reverses that. So what we see here in the Advent timeline is in the 4th century, we see a 3-week fast, not so much Advent, but a 3-week fast emerge in history. In the 6th century, that's when we get our first real reference to Advent as a season of being penitent. In the 5th century, it was known as St. Martin's Lent. That was the name Advent was given in the 5th century. By the 8th century, we see a 5-week period of fasting that was on the books basically for the church. And in the 9th century, we went from a period of fasting to 4 weeks and simple abstinence in a letter of St. Nicholas, who we will talk about later. When the third Sunday of Advent rolls around, that's considered Gaudete Sunday by the Christian calendar. Gaudete from Latin is rejoice. That's what the conversion is. And we make it special because the pink/rose candle is lit on Gaudete Sunday for Christ's coming. So we're supposed to be rejoiceful. The lights went out over darkness, okay? So 3 candles lit versus 1 that remains. That's basically how the Advent wreath is worked. And as you can see, everybody and everything is decorated rose. So the rose color becomes a very important symbol on this day for rejoicing instead of being penitent. One thing that's near and dear to my heart during Advent and always is December 6th, the feast of St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas was a saint from the Greek city of Myra. He was a bishop, and he would go around with his bag of gifts, and the kids would leave their shoes out and hope that St. Nicholas filled up your shoes with goodies. We left socks. Santa Claus is modeled after St. Nicholas. What you actually have is the Dutch version called Sinterklaas. And Sinterklaas merged with Father Christmas. And in 1821, there was a poem that this went through time. And in 1821, there was a poem about Santa Claus or Sinterklaas and his reindeer. By 1863, we get the modern Santa Claus, and it is nothing as St. Nicholas would be remembered. It is a very secular invention as opposed to the Feast of St. Nicholas during Advent. One of the themes of Advent in the Catholic Church is the Advent wreath. 4 equally spaced candles in a round circle. Three purple ones, which are lit on penitent Sundays, the first, second, and fourth Sunday of Advent, and the gaudete or pink candle lit on the third Sunday of Advent, which is more joyful. Various meanings have been described to these. One interpretation is the 4,000 years of biblical history between Adam and Eve and the coming of Christ. So each you get 1,000 years of each. Another interpretation is the patriarchs. So the second is the prophets. The third is John the Baptist. The fourth is Mary. There's other ones, the prophet's candle, the Bethlehem candle, the shepherd candle, the angel candle, and you can actually buy little models of these to put in your Advent wreath. The fifth thing, a candle that comes in the Advent wreath, is a white candle placed after Advent, which represents Christ. Light coming into the world. So in the end, you have the Advent wreath, you have all the candles lit, and the white candle in the center representing Christ coming into the world. The Advent wreath is made up of evergreens. Various evergreens have different meanings. Holly holly and pine are represented immortality, so it's a circle of immortality. Cedar is strength or healing, so on the bottom you see the cedar, on the left you see the pine, and on the far right you see the holly wreath. The wreath itself is a circle, meaning the eternity of God, no beginning and no end. And here you see the Advent wreath from the shrine of the conversion of St. Paul, and again St. John in the middle, proclaiming the coming of Christ, and all the Advent candles lit.